Hello there, I'm Andrew Cotter, and today we are going to be reliving some of the great sporting moments of one of Britain's greatest ever sportsmen. We're going to take you back, first of all, I said almost 25 years it is. 24 years since 1996, your first appearance on centre court.
Yeah, it was an opportunity I was so excited about. My mum had taken me to Wimbledon the first time when I was 6 in 1981, and I saw Bjorn Borg play there for the first time, and that was really when I made my one and only career decision that I wanted to be a tennis player. So then 15 years later, when I got the opportunity, when the draw came out, Kafelnikov was French Open champion, he just won singles and doubles at Roland Garros. So to have the opportunity of playing on centre court was one that I was so excited about. And in the lead up to that, once the schedule was out, I knew I was on centre. My coach and I, David Felgate, at that time, for the 3 or 4 days prior to the tournament starting, we spent 15 or 20 minutes just sitting in the stands to really, soak up the ambience of the stadium, so I could have a good look around at that stage. So then when I walked on the court, I was ready to concentrate on the job at hand.
Well, there was a dominant figure coming on the scene who you came up against a few times, and we're going to come to one of your matches against him, and I think it was your first semi-final at Wimbledon. So let's move on to 1998 and Pete Sampras. How were your feelings going into that match?
Well, it was my first semi-final, so I was pleased to sort of get past to the quarters, having been in the quarters in 96 and 97. And then coming up against Sampras, I really fancied my chances because, if we played 10 practice sets, I think I probably would have won 8 of them. And so, going into this match, I really felt like, I had a great opportunity. And one of the things I remember from very early on in the first set was when he started serving, it was almost as if he had 2 extra gears.
It was the semi-final, it was against Goran Ivanisevic, and it is a match that so many people remember. So, well, sorry to do it to you, but let's talk about this one, because it was an extraordinary match, first of all, but I wonder what your general recollections are of it.
Well, again, it became an extraordinary match because it went on for so long, but when you actually, break down the different parts of it, the first 2 sets of the match, I played okay, but Goran was definitely the better player, and somehow I managed to win that second set on a tiebreak. We then had another rain delay at the beginning of the 5th and had to come back for the 3rd day, which was obviously sort of men's finals day, and then you appreciate the tournament is going to have to be extended into a 3rd week. And then when we came back for that 3rd day, we ended up only playing four games. I think I was down 3-2 in the 5th on serve. Goran broke my second service game and then served it out. And that was the most bizarre element, because by the time, I got back to the locker room, I sat there very aware that I'd lost in another semi-final, but I'd only played 20 minutes that day. Normally you have a huge build-up of pressure and you're burning a lot of energy, both physically and emotionally. And, I was back in the locker room kind of saying to myself, well, is that it?
Was it the one that hurt the most, and how long did it take you to come to terms with that one?
I think I'm still coming to terms with it. There's no doubt if I could play one match again in my career, it would be that semi-final in 2001. And there's no doubt that match is the one that people ask me the most about.
A different type of match then as we go on to 2007. It's a first round match. It's against Spain's Carlos Moya. And our final match is your final singles win at Wimbledon.
Yeah, no, it didn't. I didn't in any way, shape or form think that this would, could be my last match and would go on to be my last win. I want to say that we did stop overnight.
Yeah.
And I think we stopped at 5-all in the 5th. So to come back at that stage was not easy, but certainly good to get the right outcome that day.
the noise from the crowd was throughout your whole career was there, and the ubiquitous "Come on, Tim." But I mean, you know, sometimes you laugh at that, and sometimes I'm sure you think I can't hear that one more time in my life. But the support and the affection was genuine.
Yeah, I mean, the support I had at Wimbledon was just absolutely incredible. But I always enjoyed playing that third match on centre, which was, you know, the sort of late afternoon coming into the evening. You know, whether that was the crowd or whether that was the spectators coming home to watch on TV. It just added to the whole occasion, and throw in the hill and the big screen. It was. I felt so lucky, so privileged to, you know, to have a lot of my best tennis experience out on the best tennis court in the world. I would have loved to have played Wimbledon every week of the year. It was just, you know, the best atmosphere, the best environment, and you know, that's the final piece of the puzzle. When I think about all the tournaments, the training, the travel, the discipline, I don't miss any of that. The final piece of the puzzle, walking out on centre court, playing in front of a home crowd, is irreplaceable.
Yeah, we're looking forward already to next year. It'll be a big miss this year, but thank you for reliving and watching along with us on HSBC. Tim Henman. Next week we'll be joined by Goran Ivanisevic and reliving his favourite moments. No, thank you very much indeed, Tim. We've really enjoyed reliving some of these great moments that you've had, and thank you for the tennis over the years as well, Tim Henman.
Thanks for having me. Cheers.